Assalamualaikum and greetings to the lecturer, Madam Nurliana Safian and my fellow classmates. My name is Nur Aina Fitrah binti Razak and today we will be presenting the Budget Proposal 2021 made by the Ministry of Education. This budget proposal will be presented by 5 members in total, starting from me. Firstly, I will be presenting on the theme of Budget 2021. As we know, budget presentation will be held once a year and every budget has their own theme and goals that need to be focused on. Thus, the theme for Budget 2021 is Stand United, We Shall Prevail, which hoping that all Malaysians can work together to achieve a better solution that can benefit all people. Not just that, there are 3 highlighted goals in the budget which are rakyat's well-being, business continuity and economic resilience. For the first goal, it is focusing on people's welfare where the government will propose few programs to eliminate problems such as financial problems and inconvenience facilities. Next, business continuity will refer to the government's initiative to strengthen the existing sectors and industries in this country. Lastly, the third goal will be focusing on the country's sustainability in terms of finance and development. These 3 goals are important since it will act like a guidance for all ministries while preparing for their department's budget. Hence, based on the allocation given, Ministry of Education got the largest amount as much as 50.4 billion ringgit Malaysia. From the allocation, several strategies and programs will be proposed by the ministry to solve the problems concerning the students, especially in learning process. During pandemic COVID-19, not only the parents but students also affected. Their education process being disrupted from physical classes to online classes and it will be changed again depending on the situation. Besides, there are also problems regarding financial and facilities among the students that affect their studies. Thus, the programs planned by the ministry are aiming to solve these kind of problems and also to achieve quality education in Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Mamnatul Jannah binti Abu Bakar and I will explain about the first goal, which is the students' well-being. When we talk about well-being, it is not only about the academic of the students, but it is also about the achievement and the mental health of the students. So, the Ministry of Education needs to make sure that every student in Malaysia can learn in school and at the same time their mental health also maintained, which is the students need to have good emotional skills so that they can always be happy when learning in school. It is because even before the pandemic of COVID-19 happened, there are many students that already suffered with mental problems because of their family itself, such as there are the families that having the financial problems, the family problems and many other problems that can affect the mental of the students. So, the Ministry of Education plays important roles to make sure that every student in Malaysia can learn in school with positive vibes. There are 2 strategies that Ministry of Education can do to achieve the first goal, which is the students' well-being. Ministry of Education, they can provide the incentive to the students because as we know, there are many families that already suffered with financial problems even before the pandemic of COVID-19 happened. In 2020 until July 2021, there are about 155,893 of workers that had been laid off due to the pandemic of COVID-19. Among these workers, of course, there are some families that need to work hard, especially when they have children. It is because Malaysia slowly healed because of everyone already got their vaccination. So the government wants to reopen the school for the children to attend. So the family that have financial problems feel more burdened because of they need to prepare many things for their children to go to school. And if you want to know, B40 is a group that most affected in financial problems because they have household that earn below than 4,360 ringgit. There is an issue that one girl attend the school without wearing proper school uniform due to her family's financial problems. Besides, her other siblings also need to stop attending the school because they need to take care of their younger siblings since their parents need to work as fruit sellers. And it shows that this is a big issue that happened to the parents and the children because the children forcefully need to stop attending the school at the young age and also need to attend the school without proper school uniforms. So, Ministry of Education can create a program that called as Program Bond of Love to provide the school uniform to the students. And since some of the students from B40 group were the most affected in financial problems, the Ministry of Education can focus this program on B40 students in both primary and secondary schools for about 2.8 million students because the total number of students in Malaysia are 4 million and above, included the pra-schoolers. In addition, all of the public primary school in Malaysia have similar school uniform, and same goes to the public secondary school. So, it will ease the Ministry of Education to provide the school uniform to the students, no matter what kind of schools that the students attend. The purpose or the objective of the program is to display the neat uniform in all schools in Malaysia. It is meant that every school in Malaysia can show the similar school uniform, and the only difference in their school uniform is the school badges. Besides, when all of the students attend the school with proper school uniform, there are no students that will feel isolated and embarrassed when attending the school. So, the budget allocation for this program is about 420 million ringgit because the Ministry of Education need to provide about 150 ringgit for each student to provide the school uniforms. Besides, Ministry of Education can achieve the first goal, which is the students' well-being, by providing the foods to the student. Every student need to have proper and healthy foods or meals because it can give them energy to survive at school. A long time ago, Malaysia government had established a program that provide food for the students in primary school that called as Rancangan Makanan Tambahan RMT. It is important to have this kind of program because we do not know how many times and what kind of foods that the students eat when they at their home. There is an issue that happened during the pandemic of COVID-19. A student attends school every day just to get free foods. It is because in school, the students that attend school during the pandemic of COVID-19, they will get free foods. And it shows that not everyone have proper meals when they at their home because there are the families that suffer with financial problems. So, Ministry of Education can rename the RMT program into RMH, Rancangan Makanan Harian, since RMT is an old name of the program that had been established by the government a long time ago. But the concept of RMH is similar with RMT, which is this program will focus on the students that came from the family that had been determined under category miskin tega, except the students that live in hostel, because every student that live in hostel will receive their own privilege. Category miskin tega are the families that have households earn below than poverty line income, which is 500 ringgit. So, the government can assist for about 1.5 million students because this program only focus on the students in primary schools and the students were from category miskin tega, since the students from category miskin tega are lesser than the students in B40 group. The objective of this program is to ensure that every student can have energy when they learn at school, and at the same time they can stay healthy because the students were being given healthy and proper foods when they at school. So the budget allocation for this program is about 450 million ringgit because the Ministry of Education needs to prepare for about 300 ringgit for each student in a year for the foods. The second strategy that Ministry of Education can do to achieve the students' well-being is help to ease the parents' burden. In Malaysia, we have B40, M40 and T20, and these groups are the groups that being determined by the households that they earn. The B40 students, especially the students that live in rural areas, the underprivileged students, and also the orphan student, they cannot afford to buy the equipments for the school purposes, such as bags, stationeries, socks and shoes, and many other things. It cause they cannot attend the school, or also they attend the school with shabby shoes or improper equipment and many others. There is an issue that a student attends school while wearing shabby shoes. Imagine if there is a student that from B40 group and also at the same time she or he have many siblings, the parents absolutely hard to afford all of the equipments for their children to go to school. So the Ministry of Education needs to make sure that every student in Malaysia can attend the school with proper and complete equipment. Ministry of Education can create a program back to school to provide the equipment such as book, stationaries, bags, shoes and socks to the students, especially the students that live in rural areas, the underprivileged students, and also the orphan students. Actually, the program Back to School had been established by the government to provide the equipment to the student. But the impact is not too big because there are some students that still did not receive any help from the government. Ministry of Education needs to come out this program Back to School again with more adequate and extensive, so that every student in Malaysia can receive fair and proper equipment. The objective of this program is to ensure that every student in Malaysia can go to school with proper and sufficient equipment so that they are happy when attending the schools. Since this program focuses more on underprivileged students, the students that live in rural areas, and also the orphan student in B40 group, so Ministry of Education can assist for about 2.3 million students in both primary and secondary schools, because Ministry of Education no need to assist all of the B40 students, because some of B40 students can afford to buy the equipment. So with this number of students, the budget allocation that Ministry of Education needs to run this program is about 414 million ringgit, because they need to prepare for about 180 ringgit for each student to provide the equipment. Another thing that Ministry of Education can do to help ease the parents' burden is providing affordable money to the students, because with those money, students and parents can buy or pay anything that important for themselves, or they also can use that money to pay anything that related with schools, such as paying the school fees for curriculum purposes or any activities that they need to pay in their school. The government actually had provided between 100 to 150 ringgit to the students, but it actually not enough for the students, because some of the school in Malaysia have expensive fees, even the public schools. There is an issue that a student did not pay the school fees because of the family's financial problems. It is a big issue that happened to the students and the parents, because not everyone have big salaries to pay and buy anything. So if Ministry of Education can provide affordable money to the students can pay the school fees, and with those money also, the students might change her or his family's life, because they have the opportunities to learn at their school. Ministry of Education can create a program that called as Program Forever Thankful to provide affordable money to the students that came from family that have household earn below than 3,000 ringgit in both primary and secondary schools. The objective of this program is to help ease the life of parents and the students so that the students can pay anything, especially that related with school, with those money. Ministry of Education can assist 2.5 million students, and each student will be given 200 ringgit because some of the students in B40 group, they have household earn above than 3,000 ringgit. So the budget allocation that Ministry of Education needs to run this program is 500 million ringgit.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nurul Rafika binti Rasul. I will presenting the next goal, which is business continuity. It is ensuring whenever the essential is continually incorporated in order to maintain a strong governance structure and give ongoing improvement and changes. Business continuity is one of the framework for identifying any activities that may be exposed to potential threat, as well as providing solutions to guarantee that the efforts undertaken are not disrupted. Due to outbreak in Malaysia, particularly all schools and institutions have been closed in order to minimize the number of spread of virus to guarantee that the people's safety are not risked, particularly among primary and secondary school students. As a result, Ministry of Education have pledged to continue learning process during the pandemic era with other initiatives in order to protect everyone's health. The first strategy under the business continuity is give a better education with better system. The COVID-19 pandemic has been extremely become concern among students due to occurrence of unexpected case at any point. However, the learning process must continue to guarantee that the student do not fall behind. As a result, the continuing education initiative has aided in delivery of high quality education despite to the closing school. Home-based teaching and learning (PDPR) system was implemented to ensure that all children or students can continue their learning process. But there are a lot of issues that have been arisen during the home-based teaching and learning PDPR being implemented. The first one is 1.7 million students who cannot even integrate during the online learning because they could not have enough devices such as smartphone, tablet or computer, especially for them that have a lot of siblings in one family. Next, there are issues on the high data usage throughout the online learning process, particularly for those who are unable to purchase a better and sufficient plan. Children or students will be left behind if the learning process due to insufficient internet connectivity. The initiative that need to be done is by helping especially students from B40 group who have less opportunity to get an effective online learning, which is the first program is one to be implemented is provide gadget for e-learning. New Culture Technology program is one of the initiative that want to be give to the student by free gadget to facilitate their learning process. A total of 100,000 gadgets will be given to the student and will provided in stages. It is require budget of 450 million for implementation this program. This is to ensure that all students who really need the gadget are given the same online learning opportunity as other students. It's very important to this implementation of the program to ensure that students can follow the online learning with better process without having any problem or difficulty to continue their online learning process. Next program is Jaringan Prihatin, which is a data network aid program. This is to ensure that students are giving enough data for online learning. Provide free unlimited data for a year is the one of the activities under this program that want to be done with the cooperation with telecommunication company. Yes, a total of 150 million need to be allocated to provide subsidy from the government and estimated RM300 each family to help students with internet problem, especially those from B40 family and in rural area. This is very helpful to facilitate the learning process of students who have a internet connectivity problem. Next strategy is give additional learning classes, which is to help to strengthen the thinking ability among students. Therefore, the initiative need to be done is to provide education to school and things related to the learning to be further improved, especially during this pandemic COVID-19. It's very worrying when the issue of learning dropout and also learning burnout that shows in the data about increasing in the number of students in 2020. There is statistics show that the dropout rate of primary school students increased in 2020 to 0.13% compared to 2019, which is 0.12%. Meanwhile, the dropout rate in the secondary school student increased from 1.14% to 1.26% for the same period. Although the rate shows that not show much increase, but a small increase can give a very large effect. Plus, there is also data show that the teaching and learning online (PDPR) are only 20 to 30% that students attend this lesson. This is because students lost their attraction during the online learning because of the learning environment is not conducive, or other factors such as learning are not the same conveyed during the normal classes. Under this strategy, Planet IQ program is initiative that can help to provide a more effective and interesting way of learning, especially among primary school students. Under this program, they are called Didik TV, which is provide a television program that provide 11 hours of coverage. It as an initiative to implement a educational TV that collaboration with Prime Media and only broadcast related to educational material. Implemented a plan and structured manner with free television program and attracting the interest of students, especially among primary students, to more interesting and creative learning, and at the same time helping students who lack access to got extra classes. The required budget allocation is 2 million, which is to pay the Prime Media for the broadcast for the television program. Another program that want to be implemented is memartabatkan bahasa Malaysia and memperkukuhkan bahasa Inggeris. Under this program, there are highly immersive program that help to strengthen the English among the student. This program to increase the use of English language in the school community. The implementation of this program is to provide a toolkit to attract students to be more pro-efficient to use English for their daily life. There are other initiatives under this program, which is provide a student competition, which is give them a reward for in the competition that they enter, to ensure that give more encouragement and also an effective and creative ways to ensure that students can use the English in their daily life, or maybe we can say for their second language. The budget required for this program is 38.3 million, is to provide toolkit for highly immersive program and school activity to all 10,220 schools in Malaysia, and 3 million for education of the competition. The benefit of this program is be taught by the aspiring teacher and give a positive attitude to the student toward learning, and want to attract students to learn English, to ensure that they have the spirit and encourage to use English as their second language.
And Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Nabiha binti Azman, and I will continue this presentation with the next point, which is economy resilient. Okay, before I start, let me explain a little bit about economic resilience. Measure to support economic expenditure in the planned final period 2018 and 2000 will focus on strengthening sector growth and structural reform, innovation and technology adoption, and also providing quality infrastructure. As a result, effort will be increased to encourage more innovation and modernization, as well as development of knowledge-intensive and skilled workforce, particularly in the manufacturing and service sector. However, the education sector also play a significant role in propelling the economy toward long-term and significant economic growth. The rest of the world face a significant challenge because of the COVID-19 pandemic economy recovery. This pandemic not only harm people health and life, but also should slow global economic growth, which is said to be far more difficult than the Great Depression of the 1930s. Recognize the importance of education in terms of economy. Proposed change for investment should be refined more comprehensively and fairly. Meanwhile, we must adapt to new norm while also exploring opportunity for economic growth. The widespread adoption of COVID-19 have implementation of digitalization in the education sector. The 2020 budget will put a measure in place to improve people well-being, drive the economy toward sustainable growth, ensure sustainability, living, and strengthen public service delivery. Based on existing issue and challenge, the 2021 budget seeks to strike a balance between addressing critical needs, citizens, business, and also the well-being of the rakyat. Because 2020 is the first year of the pandemic, the first year that we need to recover from pandemic. This budget focuses on 4 major areas, which is ensuring people well-being, promoting economic growth, and protecting the environment, sustaining life, and also strengthening public service delivery. Okay, next I will explain on the strategy that have been on our budget. Okay, our first strategy is for this economy resilience is provide quality education toward economic growth. To provide employment opportunity to the needy through Minister of Education, fair effort will be implemented through realistic and good program, especially through content of quality education. In the meantime, Islam also attach great importance to education and perfectly mastery of knowledge. This is because education is one of the main pillars in the country's social development. Neglecting in the matter of education means neglecting the welfare of society and also affecting the development of a country. The importance of education to the development of country can be seen with allocation of large national expenditure each year for the purpose of developing the education system needed by the society. Okay, next, this action is considered a major investment to ensure continuous progress to develop human capital of first-class minded in the future. The world is more focuses on science. If our nation is not educated, we will be far behind and will even be left behind to develop and generate national development. Therefore, through effort based on quality education toward economic growth, this will focus on educational programs that are significant enough toward the formation of contribution to the national economy through the education system. Taking the realization that economy and education are very important that will lead to the better course of development, the lack of qualified human capital in a particular field have been difficult for our advanced economic activity. Okay, capacity building effort will be increased to create more efficiency and skilled workforce to meet industry demand and also to improve capacity building, including strengthening skill training program and improving cooperation between training institution and industry. With the program pemberkasaan latihan kemahiran KPN and also penyelenggaraan bangunan sekolah secara bersasar, program are the main point of implementation that will be brought by the Minister of Education. With the involvement of the Minister of Education, it will benefit the country economic development. This is because for us to develop economic sector to continue grow, it requires a long journey. Apart from that, education is critical to the development of intellectual resources. Education produces a lot of educated people in order to determine attaining the status of high-income developed country. This program is one of the initiatives that will benefit students, particularly in the effort to prepare for finding a good job when they reaches their adulthood. This is because even though the economy is fully employed, minority unemployment remain a soft concern. Educational is also becoming more pronounced in the labor market, with many people with the tertiary education working in semi-skilled and low-skilled occupation. In the meantime, the inflection will be re-education program will be skill improvement to help people improve their economic standing. Among this effort, the integrated training program can benefit the industry contribution. The importance of inspiring student skill training is not only in preparing students who can cope in various situations such as job competition, but also in the large context of making the human capital required by the country. In general, students should be provided with some skill that must be mastered while in school to face the challenge of finding a job and contribute to the sustainable economy. Thus, generating human resources for the country. Workforce upskilling and reskilling are critical to the meeting the labour market rapidly changing needs. Communication, critical thinking, teamwork and continuous learning and information management, entrepreneurship, professional, ethnic and moral and leadership skill will be included. For this program, I will explain more on that have been implemented, the importance of communication skill, the importance of teamwork skill, and also the problem solving skill and leadership skill. This is the main idea of our program to students. Okay, now I will explain on our first program, which is Pemerkasaan Latihan Kemahiran KPM. Our project name is KPM Young Master Skill. Objective of this program is to apply the basic value skill to produce intelligent students and contribute to the industry. The budget allocation for this program is 30 million, which is our target people is 55% of secondary school students in high school. Okay, for activity that will be implemented for this program, which is a skill training empowerment workshop, which is it can give a benefit to students in order for them to able to improve skill, added value to a better future, and also to produce students with sufficient knowledge and skill. The budget allocation for this program will be carried out 30 million on campaign workshop in the 2,444 schools in Malaysia. Next, I will explain on our next program, which is penyelenggaraan bangunan sekolah secara bersasar. The second program is a program that will benefit the affected school. Through this targeted school building maintenance program, it will focus on awarding tender to contractors in needed. This is because the community is alert the nation was hit by COVID-19 pandemic, give a big impact to our economic sector. Through this effort, it's not only provide comfort to the student, but also can drive economic development to those who are affected contractor. Project implementation tender will be awarded directly to the affected small contractor to ensure that no company can take advantage. Through this effort, economic development will also move passively, where the affected group will be given directly by the country. Okay, the provision of this direct maintenance project can only help in terms of academic sensibility, but also can ensure a good learning process to the student. Okay, for this program penyelenggaraan sekolah secara bersasar, our project name is KI Pulih KPM. Our objective for this project is provide a comfortable and conducive learning space for students, as well as assist construction contractor that were affected during PKP. The budget allocation is 700 million, which is a target of the people is maintenance and allocation to more than 5,000 schools under the Ministry of Education will be distributed according to type of school. The activity that will be implemented is renovating and maintaining awarded school building, which can be a benefit to the student, which is students are able to perform learning teaching activity as well as possible. Students can only study in comfortable environment and also comfortable learning process. Okay, the budget allocation for this program is allocated 700 million for the maintenance of school building and school equipment that are absolutely that no need to be maintenance. It involves spending 700 million for the maintenance process to make sure our students will be able to get a better education system. I believe with this kind of program, it will be a benefit to the student in terms of they can happy learning, they can enjoy the learning process well, and they can when they able to enjoy the learning process well, they can contribute back to the country. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Azim Iskandar bin Magaril, and I will continue with the second strategy under economic resilience, which is increase the growth of education and economy. In this strategy, education play a very important role in generating vigorous economic growth, enhancing the competitiveness and quality of life of our country populations. These two things, education and economy, are also interdependent because they can bring many benefits to the country and society. Education also seen as a resource that can improve the national economy when it can produce more graduates who are able to contribute in the employment sector. However, the economic development was seen to be stunted when the education sector had to be closed in an effort to control the spread of COVID-19 in Malaysia. This causes negative impact on students when teaching and learning PDPR done online is found to be less effective. Therefore, in order to ensure that students return to school and be able to complete their schooling, the Ministry of Education should also focus on those who receive less attention, such as indigenous people. This is further strengthened through the Student Database Application (APDM) until May 31, 2019. The presence of indigenous students in primary and secondary school decreased by 725 people compared to 2018. This statistic describes the situation of these children are less interested in being in school and more likely to be in their own community environment. Among the factors that cause the student to be less interested in going to school is the placement of this community, with the school is being too far away. The family could not afford to send their children to go to the school. Therefore, we must emphasize the indigenous people because they also have the right to drive our country economy in terms of education. In addition, the Ministry of Education should also give emphasis to those who are less interested in education but more inclined towards skill. This is because with the skill in the field that they involve, they could contribute in our country development. So one of the platform where they can sharpen their skill is by joining Technical and Vocational Education and Training, or known as TVET. However, the exposure of this program is still low among parents in Malaysia. This is because over this year, TVET has been considered as a second-class opportunity for Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM) graduate to further their study after failing to university. This is reinforced through the Auditor General Report (LKAN) 2019 Series 2, stating that the output of TVET program has not yet reached the target of 11 Malaysia Plan. The total intake of students who participated in TVET for 2016 to 2020 show a declining trend between 1.0% to 2.46% compared to the previous year, which was including 139,699 students in 2016 to only 99,589 students in 2020. Plus, only 474,672, which is 52.8%, graduate were successfully produced for 2016 to 2020 compared to the 900,000 new job opportunity target set in 2020. Therefore, the Ministry of Education should raise the name of educational institution that offer TVET, as it can guarantee jobs and a bright future. So, shortening education is one of the ways that can be taken to improve the economic standard in our country. This is because by empowering education, it can increase the opportunities for young people to get an education and also open a wider job market to them. This is because it adversely affects students when their learning is stunted and some of them are unable to continue their studies. In this strategy, Ministry of Education (MOE) has chosen two programs that can be done, which are by implementing Indigenous Community Program and TVET Education Program. Both programs aim to produce educated students in order to aid economic growth. The chosen of Indigenous Community Program is to create equality for those living in rural areas in getting education, same as those who are living in city areas. While the TVET Education Program is to produce more highly skilled young people. So, in this strategy, amount that shall be allocated for Make It as a Success is RM928 million to implementing both programs. So, we move to the first program under this strategy, which is Indigenous Community Program. The objective of this program is to create equality for the indigenous people in getting education, same as those who live in cities area, to generate economic growth. So, the budget of this program is RM158 million, and the target group of this program is indigenous people in Peninsular Malaysia. The first activities that can be done under this program is by focusing on the education of indigenous children, is because it can help to produce more educated society. And the next activities is by providing special transportation services for indigenous children to go to school. It is because the reason of these children are less interested in going to school is because the family cannot afford to send their children to the school, because the placement of this community and the school are being too far away. So the budget allocation for this program is RM100 million are estimated to construct new facilities such as kindergarten, RM38 million to buy new school transportation such as van or school bus, and RM20 million are estimated to provide book and teaching staff. This program not only aims to improve the standard of education of indigenous people, but it also has a positive impact towards their well-being. Quality education will be the key to accelerating the socio-economic development of the Orang Asli community. According to the Minister in the Prime Minister Department, Economic Affairs, Datuk Seri Mustafa Mohamed, the incidence of poverty in 2019 among indigenous people is about 33.6%. The low level of education has also reduced the social mobility and marketability of this group. This is due to lack of infrastructure facilities, lack of amenities and services such as communication road, electricity supply, water supply treatment and telecommunication. Therefore, the focus on this group must be strengthened so that there is no dropout in the term of education and economy. So, we move to the second program under this strategy, which is TVET Education Program. The objective of this program is to produce a competent workforce in specific areas. The budget of this program is RM 770 million, and the target group of this program are graduate of Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia (SPM). So, the first activities under this program is by providing loans to 24,000 trainees to pursue TVET program. And the second activities is by providing allowance to the trainees who participated in TVET program. The benefit of this program is to attract students to join skill-based program because of the bright future, and it can also helping students who are financially incapable, and by joining this program, it can help to produce more skilled students who are able to generate the national economy. So the budget allocation of this program, RM 400 million, are estimated to provide loan to 24,000 trainees. RM 300 million are estimated to give allowance for 15,000 trainees. And RM 30 million are estimated to implement TVET program under Islamic education such as Tafiz. The TVET education process is more towards an industry that require a highly trained and skilled workforce. In line with the rapidly developing countries, TVET graduates have a lucrative opportunities as the country need many skilled manpower in the industry. TVET is also popular with various skill courses such as computer system technology, art and design, automotive technology and electrical technology, electronic and telecommunication and mechatronic. According to the SPM 2020 result analysis report, a total of 381,894 candidates has sat for the SPM examinations. The percentage of the candidate that eligible to receive SPM certificate increased by 1.96% to 88.68%, which include 338,659 candidates. Therefore, the Ministry of Education should emphasize the TVET program in order to open opportunity for young people to further their study in skills.
To conclude, the budget proposal made under the Ministry of Education has 12 programs in total involving the students and the schools handled by the ministry itself. All 12 programs are estimated to have a total cost around 4,082,500,000 ringgit Malaysian. Besides, the strategies and programs planned by the ministry was made based on the ministry's views on the problems concerning the students. Thus, certainly, the 3 goals highlighted in the budget can be achieved. If the programs can be implemented successfully, it will guarantee the students are able to receive an effective learning without having to worry about the financial problems, even though we are still in the state of coping with pandemic COVID-19. Not just that, if this budget proposal is approved, it is safe to say it will help in terms of lighten the burden faced by the students in the country and ensuring they are prepared with after-school skills. That's all from us. Thank you.